on today's topic. All right, so recording has already been started. So, so we have three mentors for the day. So two would be two, like one, Dr. Maryam is already with us, and Dr. Iffat will be joining us around 2:30. Uh, then we also have Shahzad. Shahzad is founder of CLICKY and .pk. He is already on his way. I think he's going to be joining us in the next 5 minutes. So as soon as he joins in, then we're going to start. But as I mentioned right now, that FI is a program. It's supposed to add value and give you that growth, which generally will take 2 to 3 years for you. But what our purpose is to get it done in the next 4 to 5 months. And you will see the results if you follow it properly. We have seen it with our cohort one. The kind of progress they made in the 4 to 5 months was amazing. It was, again, it could have been better. So that's why I hope that you guys gonna, this particular cohort will make us much more prouder and would be able to reach those heights that we deserve, you guys deserve, and that would we expect from you guys. Okay. So let's start today's session again. We will be doing some hot seats. Okay. So for the hot seat, what we do is we invite startups to come and pitch for 60 seconds. After 60 seconds, Maryam, you will be rating them. We will also will be joined by Shahzad, and then and when Dr. Iffat will join us. So the mentors will be rating them from 1 to 5 with no threes allowed. So the drill is that if they are five means, I think, yes. So just gotta give me a minute. So our second mentor is here. We're just calling. So the idea is to rate them from 1 to 5 with no threes allowed. Three means so we don't allow averages. So it's either good or it's bad. So it's not okay. So here. Assalamualaikum. No, it's okay. Okay, guys. Welcome, Shahzad Sahab. So we have just started a session. So we will also be joined by Dr. Maryam. And so today's session primarily is on revenue and business model. But before we start the session, we'll be starting with the hot seat. So as I was mentioning, in hot seat, we invite founders to come and give a 60-second pitch. After 60 seconds, you will be giving them scores from 1 to 5 with no threes allowed. So it's either 1, 2, 4, or 5. 5 means it's the best pitch that you ever, like you want to invest in a startup. So that's 5. 4 is a good pitch. 2 is a bad pitch, and 1 is a poor pitch. So that's how the scoring is. Any questions on the scoring? Self-explanatory. I think you already been part of it, so I think आपके लिए आसान है. Numan, फिर हमें mic यहाँ पे इनको. Okay. So who's coming first? So those who have already, I can always invite you again. So it's not that if you have been invited before, then I cannot invite you again. But Muzna, you're the first one. Okay. No, second. Okay. So are you ready? Or you're not ready? You are ready. Okay. Okay, so your time starts now.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. I'm Musna Khan, and I am co-founder EMR Chains, which is a health tech startup, and we are trying to transform healthcare accessibility. You might have heard a million times whenever you are calling to hospitals that beep, आपका मिलाया हुआ number इस वक्त मसरूफ है, and you are unable to get even essential information about the hospital timings, doctor availability, etc. Sorry about that. So what we are trying to build that gap. We have launched an AI chatbot on hospital's website that will help you to get instant information, book appointments, manage your medical records, and very to make it make our healthcare ecosystem very patient centric, right? So we are tapping about a market of 787.1 million, which is expected to grow by 25% by 2030.
And time is up.
Already acquired 4 hospitals.
But the time is up. You have acquired 4 hospitals, but the time is up. Okay. So let's start with the scoring first. So over to you, Maryam, if you could give your score, and then we're gonna ask for the score from Mr. Shahzad, and then the feedback. Yeah.
Sure. I was expecting to see actually the pitch deck as well, because it's much more,
So in the hot seat there is no pitch deck. It's an elevator pitch. So elevator pitch. Yeah. So there's no pitch deck. So they're just it's because it's a 60-second. So based on what you have heard, you can give your score.
The idea is really great. The idea is really great for Pakistan, but I was wondering what's the competitive advantage of her startup comparing with the other competitors, if there are any competitors in the market in Pakistan. Overall, I would say 4 for her presentation, self-confidence. The idea is good. Yeah, I just don't know what is the competitive advantage and the competitors. Yeah.
All right. Okay. Thank you. Shahzad Saab, over to you. 4. Okay. So 2 4s. Good job. Yeah. Over to you for the feedback. And if you could use the mic, because we have virtual startups also on.
Okay. So I think a lot of sort of automation is happening in this field, and I guess a lot of startups are working. We are also working on something in the similar domain. So I think this is the thing to do. But obviously, we understand that you are developing the startup probably in a very early stages. So there are so many things that you have to work on, you will have to work on, and things like that. So in general, you have picked a good domain. Like it's a big customer base. Probably if you get hospitals on board, they will pay you also. So overall, this is a great domain to work in, but this is not the work done. I mean, it's just the start of it, and over the time you will see the competition also, and find your right product and market fit. So that is something that we will have to see over the time. But in general, this is great space to work in, and wish you all the luck. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next startup, EvoWare, is coming. Clicker, you don't need. You can grab the mic. Okay, are you ready? Okay, and please use the mic because we have थोड़ा करीब करके आप बात करें ताकि वो you'd be able. Okay, so the time starts now.
Hi everyone, I'm Hadi. I'm co-founder of EvoWare, which is a robotics health tech company that specializes in helping rehabilitate stroke and hemiplegic patients using assistive robotic technology. Our latest products actually feature a lower limb exoskeleton that allows people to walk with 50% more assistive power rather than using your own muscles and your own power. The idea behind EvoWare essentially was to make sure that you have a differently able society where nobody ever has to suffer from physical limitations despite what they suffer ever again, regardless of age, gender, or any sort of ethnicity or any sort of different places they come from, right? What we do is that we make our products. We have our first one already in motion at AFIRM, and we're actually looking for investment opportunities to actually further our product line. So if you think this is what you are interested in investing, please do not hesitate to call me up, because we're always looking for help and we need all of it that we can get. Thank you.
All right, 53-second. Good job in timings. So over to our mentors for the score and the feedback. So Shahzad bhai, we'll start with you first.
I'll give you 4. Again, my feedback is very similar to what I've already given to the previous startup. Hardware is typically
Growth adventure.
yes,
Yeah.
it's a difficult road, I would say. I'm not the expert. I've never worked on any hardware startup myself or done anything like that. So, but the domain definitely is good, and I think that's all the feedback I have for now.
Thank you so much.
All
Sir.
right, thank you. Over to you, Dr. Maryam, your feedback and score. Score first and then feedback.
Yeah, I really loved it. I'm a big fan of, the healthcare in general, and specifically with the robotics. I love it. And the impact they are making on society. It's not only for Pakistan, it's an international company. They can expand it easily. I want to say 4.5, but we say we can just make it half.
Yeah.
I loved it. It's really cool. Definitely, you can just attracting a lot of investors for this domain, specifically, investors from Canada, US.
So score is what? It's 4 or is
4.5,
it 5?
if I can. Yeah.
4.5. 4.5 is not acceptable.
I would say
So
5. I would say 5.
5.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. I love it.
Oh,
Thank you, Maryam.
very generous. So good job. Very good score. All right. Okay. So thank you. And the next startup for the hot seat, Maidan. बस ठीक है encourage करते हैं एक दूसरे को. That's how it is. Okay, good job. You can take the mic and then we can start. Shahid, you are ready?
Ready.
Okay. Time starts now.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. My name is Raja Mashahid, and I'm the CEO and founder of Maidan. So what Maidan essentially does is connect sports enthusiasts with sports arenas, players, and games in their area. We launched over a year ago and have crossed over 5,000 users and are expanding in 4 major cities. We have over 50 grounds onboarded with us at the moment. So user experience on the app for a user would probably look like they'd be able to book games, pay through their e-wallets, rate each other, and has more of a community building aspect to it. The vision for this company is to become a household name for any kind of sporting activities across Pakistan and hopefully worldwide as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So it's 50 seconds. So well in time. So again, Dr. Mani, over to you for the score and the feedback, and then we come.
I would say 3, not because of the presentation or not because of what
But
is it.
3 is not acceptable. Sorry. So it's either 2 or 4.
2 or 4. Okay, 4. The domain is a little bit competitive, and it's getting saturated these days. So you really need to work on your competitive advantage or a different, let's say, partners you're taking on board or some sort of, differentiations from the competitors. That's my only concern regarding this. But overall, it's very nice.
All right. Thank you.
I'll give you 4. And personally, I like the idea. I mean, I just wanted to understand this is the sort of indoor the grounds that we have started to see now.
Yeah, pay to play courts.
Yeah. So I think this is something that we need more of these places around us. But probably it's a very niche business, not as scalable as some of the other businesses would be. But I think overall, if you're able to build something which people like, easily accessible, as you said, a good app experience where community can be built, So this could be something successful. So overall, I think it's a good thing to work on.
Sounds good.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Okay. Next startup, Ballet Delights.
Assalamualaikum. My name is
So once I say start, that's when you start. So you have 160 again. Okay, for the hot seat. Ready? Okay. So your time starts now.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Zamla and I'm the CEO and the founder of Ballet Delights. Ballet means woman and delights things that make women happy. So we make handbags to make women happy. And Ballet Delights is e-commerce handbag store with our own manufacturing, and we are using direct to consumer approach. Basically, I myself have more than 7 years of experience in e-commerce and digital marketing. And we have started in May 2022. And with that, we have more than 20,000 customer base, through which we have generated 1,95,000 USD dollars revenue. Sorry. And with this, these proven results, I'm just not only defying the norms in male dominant industry, but I also inspire other women. The problem we are solving, it's very difficult to find a bag that is practical, stylish, and affordable all together at the same time. So we partner with local artisans to produce a bag that by reducing the cost and using direct to consumer approach. So basically, this is and the target audience is women aged from 16 to 35, majorly,
Time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. So Shahzad sir, over to you for score.
I think this is something Khalid would love to discuss, but I think it's great to have $195,000 of revenue. Overall, I am a techie, so these kind of things. I always say you are in a difficult business.
Yes.
Not that you won't make it, but it's a very competitive. If it's a D2C brand, and I mean it's more of a probably you will always have limited designs and supply chains and stuff like that. But it's great that you have already sold $200,000 worth of inventory.
Thanks.
And
Score first. I want so 4. Okay, 4.
Thank you. I want to answer supply chain वाला. I have sorted that thing क्योंकि उसमें ये है कि हमारी supply chain बहुत sorted है. हमने सिर्फ raw material उठाना होता है और उसको manufacture खुद करना होता है. तो हमारे जितने भी extra होता है कि आप किसी और से ले रहे हो और वो सारी लंबी supply, तो हमने उसको बहुत short कर दिया.
Okay.
All right.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Again, I'll just take
Yeah, please.
because we do similar kind of a business.
Okay.
So we started with our own brands and in CLICKY, our own labels, but gradually we moved on and we said, no, we will not do it. But my quick question is that what kind of margins do you operate, for example, if you have done $200,000 sale?
Yeah.
So what's kind of, are you profitable?
Yes, I am
get-
profitable. मैंने बहुत minimum amount से start किया था और उसी को circulate कर करके मैंने अपनी factory को काफी मतलब अब बड़ा कर लिया. So it started with like जो gross margin है 40% और हम लोग जो है 20% net profit
And
कर लेते हैं.
how quickly you turn over your inventories? Like, is there any working
It's
capital?
2 to 3 days because हमारी अपनी manufacturing है तो हमारे पास dead inventory नहीं होती. ये एक point था जो कि मैंने बहुत अच्छे से sort किया था.
So you do just in time kind of.
Yeah.
thing. Right. And another thing that where we can really help you is,
Yeah.
and it's kind of a new thing that we are doing, still not announced, that in CLICKY now, anybody who will be selling his inventory on CLICKY, they will
Okay.
be integrated to Amazon Global. Like you can actually sell your product from CLICKY to Amazon Global. You don't have to go to 10 to 15 markets. When I say Amazon Global, you can sell in Dubai, you can sell in Saudi, you can sell in Europe, UK, US, even Mexico, even Canada.
Okay.
So that is something that we have already now onboarding a couple of brands for that. So we'll be open to discuss it.
Sure. I want to add
So
something to that.
so wait a second. So you can have this offline because we have to take the pages. I want to take the feedback from Dr. Maryam first. So over to you for the score and the feedback.
Yeah, I would say 4. And my question is it a purpose-driven startup or just an SME that you are just adding tech to that as an e-commerce?
No, it's a complete startup, and I'm giving my full time to this business.
Yeah, but is it a purpose-driven startup?
No, not that much, but we can say that because we are empowering women through this.
I believe in equality for men and women, right? So it's my actual point of view in the world. But
Yeah.
I know another company exactly. Something similar to you in Pakistan is a purpose-driven, and she's doing fantastically good. So I can connect you also with her if you like it. If I'm just thinking in terms of investment, if you could just hiring more women or men that they needed, different artisans in different cities in Pakistan for investments. Definitely, you can just targeting impact investors for that as well, right? But overall, like the other mentor, he was saying, the market is competitive, so it's all depends how you are doing your sales and marketing, specifically marketing campaigns, right? How
Yes.
you're differentiating yourself from the product point of view, from the brand point of view, price, right? A lot of things, but you can be very successful in this field internationally if you consider these points. So I would say 4. Yeah.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Thank you very much.
you so
Good job. Okay. Scholar B. Okay. Are you ready? Yes or?
Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. So time starts now.
Hi, I'm Temur, and we're building a marketplace for universities and scholarships. एक बच्चा आएगा, वो सिर्फ अपनी प्रोफाइल क्रिएट करेगा, and वो AI के थ्रू बेस्ट यूनिवर्सिटीज अक्रॉस पाकिस्तान एंड GCC वहाँ पे डायरेक्टली अप्लाई कर सकता है, वहाँ पे यूनिवर्सिटी रिप्रेजेंटेटिव से बात कर सकता है. Oh, so what a student can do is he can make directly a profile and apply to universities through AI recommendation, and he can directly pay the fees. He can directly talk to the university representative. We raised around $100,000 at idea stage. Now we are raising around 3 million. I've already crossed 1.5 million in expression of interest. We have more than 20 universities in Pakistan, 10 in UAE, 6 from Saudi. So we are expanding globally and giving the opportunity to students to apply themselves instead, depending on consultants.
Thank you. 53-second Valentine. Start with scoring. Dr. Maryam, first over to you for the
Yeah, I
scoring.
love it. It's really cool. It's solving the big problem for the university and students. I would say 4.
Okay.
You could just doing much more around the world with this type of the platform, and also adding new services, not only for the scholarship and matchmaking for students and universities. A lot of things you can just add it in terms of to increasing your sales. Get in touch with me on LinkedIn, so probably we can just I don't know, offer something regarding funding as well for that, because we have funding plus we can be like join with you for different universities and different type of collaboration we can think about it.
Definitely. Thank you so much.
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Over to you, Siddhartha.
I'll give you 4. And once again, I think it's a good domain to be in, and utilizing the advancements in AI. I think you could be improving how these things are done currently. So I think definitely it's a good problem or solution to work on. Given your progress, also what you have told, I think it's great and amazing. So I just wanted to understand, I mean, how you are using the AI. We have seen previously there are companies and startups who were doing this. So what is how you are using AI to differentiate your solution from the previous ones?
Actually, what we have is a big database of the universities. And when a student applies, suppose he wants to apply for a CS, the issue is which usually a student looks into the fees, okay, the ranking, everything what he wants to apply for, he doesn't know these things. So when a student uploads his past credentials, we can tell accordingly what is best for him. It usually happens for the PhD and the master's case when your numbers and these things matter a lot. For the bachelor case, it's usually a reference-based thing, and a student is just told what is best for him depending on where he wants to apply.
क्योंकि पाकिस्तान में it's around 300 plus universities. So figuring out what's best for him. Suppose his GPA is less. It's not for the students who are poor kind of GPA. It's for the students who are 60% aggregate, 70% aggregate. They are confused where to apply and how to get the scholarships. So by putting this kind of information, AI recommends these are the best things where they can apply and get the opportunity.
All right. Thank you very much. All right. So that was a hot seat for the day. We're going to start first with Dr. Maryam because I think she had to leave early. So Dr. Maryam Fouladirad, experienced CEO and visionary entrepreneur with a doctorate in entrepreneurship from US and MBA from UK. And she has a demonstrated history in working in the management, consulting, fintech, food and beverage, architecture, interior design, and international trade industries. She is skilled in marketing and brand management, export development, business and strategy planning, e-commerce, supply chain and logistics, international business, entrepreneurship and startups. So she has been expert in a lot of things. So over to you for today's topic. We have revenue and business model is the topic for the day. So yeah, without further ado, over to you, Dr. Maryam. Thank you.
Thanks, Kamran, for an introduction. First of all, I wanted to just thank all the startups with great, actually, the companies they're working. It's really nice to see, the younger generation. They are working on, these problem-solving startups, specifically from Pakistan, with all, the, issues and, the branding from the Pakistan. Because the thing is, from Pakistan, when you see, like, because of the bad effect of the media, it's a little bit hard. But I can see that a lot of things has changed already in Pakistan, specifically in the tech sectors. The government is supporting it, which is fantastically good. I haven't expected see such a support from the government side, which is lovely. That was a great decision by the government of Pakistan. Kudos to them. All right, guys. So let me share my screen. Starting with briefly talking about business model. And all right, here's a look at my. All right, you can see that. All right. So see my screen well?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's talk about business model and revenue a little bit. I'm going to talk also about the strategy because it's important. It's related to the business model. All right. Why this one is not working here? Okay, let's do that. So what's the business model in general? A lot of you're working in this field, you know that you've actually implemented your business model already in your business. So briefly, we want to talk about it. It's a framework that defines the company, how to create, how to deliver, and how to capture the value through the product or service is offering to the market. All right. I want to just also elaborate on the real meaning of entrepreneurship. Okay, because these days around the world, we're noticing many people, they are just opening even a restaurant, a grocery store, right? And they call themselves an entrepreneur. Right, which they are not. They are small business owner. Entrepreneurs, they are the people, they're looking to the society through the market, right? And finding a problem or a gap or something needs improvement in that market. And they are coming up with a solution as a product or service to resolve it. That's the real meaning of entrepreneurship. All right, I wanted to clarify that one. So it's essentially the blueprint, right, for a company as a strategy that how the company operates, how to serve the customer, like we talk about it, delivers, how to make money, right? The first thing that many people, when we talk about business model, is how to make money. What's your revenue generating channels for your company, right? But it's not only that, it's how to operate and how to serving the customers and sustain it in a very competitive environment, all right? Regarding a strategy, what is a strategy when we talk about it, all right? We're just checking out, okay, where we are standing right now. What's our current position? Where we want to go, right? Or what we want to achieve and how we are going to achieving those goals, all right? Or just finding that, that market or creating that product, what we need to do to just achieve that. This is strategy, simple meaning of a strategy is important and is helping you to just think about what should be your business model to achieving, right, this final goal as a product or service offering to the market. different business models. You all heard about it. Many of them, they are shared between the tech startups and also the startups and also the SMEs. All right, I'm going to just elaborate on that, but why a business model is important, okay, for either for the businesses or startups, for understanding, creating, and delivering the values we just talked about in the first slide, right? So it defines the value proposition, guiding the strategic planning, identify revenue stream or revenue channels, optimizing the resource allocation that we needed, supports the scalability and growth, attracts investors and funding. And if you had any like investment session with the investors, one of the most important slides they're asking is what's your business model, right? So that's also is really important for investors. Improving customer understanding, facilitates innovation, establishes sustainable cost structure, mitigates risk by understanding your competitors, understanding the market, and accordingly come up with the right business model for that specific market. Measures performance and success, promotes adaptability to market changes, creates competitive advantage, and builds a long-term vision. All right. One point I want to highlight is you can have different business models if you are operating in different markets. All right. Due to the market needs, due to the market obstacles. So in summary, a business model is critical for aligning startup resources, goals, strategies, operation, and also sustainable, profitable business, right? And like we discussed it's a blueprint to do for businesses to how to run and achieving their goals. Various types of business models, we are going to talk about it. Direct sales model, you're all familiar with that. You're just involved in companies selling product or service directly to the customers, the B2C, B2B, right, or B2G for the government. Freemium model specifically for the companies, like a tech companies, you can use it, just offer something free at the beginning. And like, for example, for the trial time, and then you are just charging client after that. Subscription model, also very popular for the tech companies, right? Small customers pay a recurring fee monthly or annually to access a product or service. Normally, companies starting with a freemium and then leading to a subscription model if they like it. Marketplace model is connects to buyers and sellers like a marketplace, typically charging a fair commission, right? What, for example, what fundii is doing. We'll be charging a commission for successful fundraising. Franchise model, the old model, mainly for SMEs, right? The company's licensing or franchising their business model, branding, operation manual, and everything, product creation to another one. Franchise and licensing is very, very important for SMEs for market expansion, fast internationally. Brokerage model, getting a commission. You're all familiar with that. Advertising model, revenue generated through selling advertising through your platform, right? Through other parties. Retail model, through like, the reason for the retailers, buying goods from manufacturer or the wholesaler, and with the margin, you're selling it. Guys, any question regarding this business model or anything from the start I was talking about?
So what we can do is after the presentation,
after the presentation,
so we can have the questions.
Okay.
All right.
I thought maybe they have some burning questions regarding this that they can actually ask it now. Some other models, we have product as a service or PaaS, right? Instead of buying a product, customers, they pay to use it in a specific period. These models I'm noticing is getting popular in UAE, specifically in Dubai, for a lot of, new companies, new startups coming to Dubai. Like, for example, they're offering, a laptop, a monitor, a different like working tools, right? I guess for Pakistan also, PaaS model would be cool, right? Razor and blade model is another business model we have it, like the company sells a foundational product at a low price, but the sale is coming from the complementary, actually, higher margin items, right? Another business model we have it is an aggregator model that curates services or products from different providers and present them under their own brand, standardizing quality and user experience. Like Uber and Booking.com is kind of for the tech companies, but at the same time, a lot of, the fashion houses that they are, outsourcing outside with their own design, and they are selling the products on their own brands. Crowdsourcing and crowdfunding models, you're familiar with that, normally with the small money that you can just, for example, do the fundraising, like, the websites like Kickstarter in the US, and some, other similar platforms for the fundraising. You can use it. Peer-to-peer or P2P model is another one. So individuals buy and sell from each other, right, on a platform that facilitates transaction, like, for example, like eBay and Craigslist. It's P2P model. Another business model, we have it high touch and low touch models. They're different in customer interaction level, right? Such, for example, the consulting or the luxury brands are normally using this type of, business models. Advertising model, revenue generated by selling advertising space often to the third parties, right? And the retail model, we already talked about it, but also depends in which sector of the retail you are operating, buying goods from manufacturer or the wholesaler and selling them with a margin to a customers, right? So these are the very general business models that they are using around the world for their business, either an SME or tech or non-tech, all right? For tech startups, in particular, these are the common business models. A lot of tech startups around the world, they are using it. I'm sure you're all familiar with that. The SaaS model, software as a service, platform as a service or PaaS or infrastructure, freemium model, licensing as a service as well, freemium model, marketplace, subscription model, on-demand model, right? And data monetization model that a lot of tech companies, due to the huge amount of the data that they have it from the customers, although it's very regulated in all the countries around the world to selling the data from the customers, but based on the regulatory in different countries, a lot of big companies are using it, selling the data of their customers. And you could just monetize it. Affiliate marketing, advertising model, open source model, transactional commission model, aggregated network, we just talked about it, hardware and product bundling model, mostly for the retail, crowdsourcing and decentralized finance, a DeFi model, right? Just a general, very common business model for the tech startups in particular that are using it. You can also use it as a hybrid model, right? So you can mix and match it for different markets you have it. It depends on the requirements in each market. But what's the benefit of having a business model? Why we need to have, and why it's good to have a right business model, right? So a well-defined business model provides several key benefits to companies, like guiding strategic planning, operation, and growth. We already talked about it. This model is a foundational tool that supports a strategic decision, attracts stakeholders. Stakeholders could be different partners, strategic partners, investors, right, suppliers, anyone related to your business. Drives the company toward the sustainable growth. And also it enables companies to better understand and leverage their strength while effectively responding to challenges and market opportunities. Like we discussed it, we can use different models, right, for different markets. Depends what the customers are looking for, what's the demand, what's the competitors of us they're offering in the market, right? Same thing with pricing, guys. If, for example, you're exporting to different markets, like the product you're exporting, you normally need to have different pricing, right, for different markets due to the, capability of, the consumers they're buying product and different, let's say, trade barriers, the distance for shipping and a lot of matters. Similar thing for business model. So benefits again for the business model, clarify value proposition, strategic planning, forms of revenue generation. It's actually helping us to focus and be more efficient in our business, facilitate innovation and scalability, attract investment, help manage the risk, improve customer experience, support performance tracking, facilitates adaptation to market changes, and increases competitive advantage. Regarding facilitation adaptation to market changes, consider this point that maybe after a couple of, let's say, years in the market, you're noticing the market is changing. So accordingly, you can change your business model. Okay. So monitoring the market and on an ongoing basis is really important for your sales, for your marketing, for export planning, for changing your strategy, for adding new business model or improve it or revise it. Let's talk now about the revenue strategies for a startup, which is related to the business model, right? So startups have several revenue strategies that they can adopt based on their product. The nature of the product is really important to let us what should be our revenue strategy to sell that, who are our target audience, and what are the market dynamics, like who are the competitors, what's the economic situation in that market, what are the political situation in that market, right? As the main fundamental risk in every single market. Again, revenue strategies for startups are very similar to this model that are, like I said, it's related. Okay, subscription model, freemium, peer-to-peer, affiliating. I'll leave it to you, just read it. I'll share a PDF format of the presentation if you require with Kamran, so we can share with you guys. We could just have it as a reference. Here, like I said, hybrid models, so you can mix and match it, right? In different markets or even in one market or even international. You're noticing, for example, you want to start with freemium model, then subscription. That's it for all your services and products you're offering around the world. Okay. So before I just jump to that, any question regarding what is the strategy, what is business model, what's the benefit of that, what are the different types of business model?
Yeah, so again, I said we can have Q&A at the end, and then once you're done with that.
I have only 2 more slides. We're talking about funding, so my presentation is almost done.
So okay, over to you guys. Let's have some questions. If you have any questions,
Kamran.
Sure. Yeah. Okay, so kindly introduce yourself.
Okay.
You can introduce your startup, what you
All
do,
right.
and then
Awesome.
you can have a question.
Okay, so basically I'm Mohib Mirza. I am the co-founder and CTO of Make Your Team. We are an AI startup. Basically, we are working to solve problems in 3 major verticals. One is customer support, the other is sales and outreach, and the third one is marketing. So basically, we build complete end-to-end AI agent systems that allow small and medium-sized businesses to automate their operations in these 3 verticals completely. Now, my question is around the business model that you were discussing. You had mentioned a couple of general business model that are used in the startup ecosystem, but what we are doing is a little bit, I would say, unorthodox. So I just don't know what to call it, and I'm going to explain it to you, and then I'll get your feedback on that.
Sure.
So basically, that's how this is how we're charging our customers. So we have a customer support agent that is embedded into the business's website, and we are charging based on the customer resolution. So we don't charge any upfront fee. We don't charge them on the usage of the agent. But if our agent brings them value, we charge them $0.99. So what would you call that? So for instance, you come to their website, you talk to their agent, and at the end of the conversation, you find that the conversation was really helpful. It really answered your question. So you press some kind of, thumbs up or thumbs down. And that indicates in our system that, the customer left the conversation satisfactory. So that enables us to charge our customers based on the resolutions for the customer support vertical. So what would you call that kind of business model? And is it really viable?
It's something similar to the commission base, right? That if, for example, they are satisfied with your solution, you are charging them that specific amount, right? You can do that, but I would also suggest offering different packages of services. Let's say package A, offering these type of services, and by subscription. So the people, they can, for later on, you would start it with freemium, then you'll also charge them but one-time fee for every single consultation. All right. And also later stage, when they are becoming your customer for an ongoing basis, offer different packages like package A, package B, package C, charge them on a monthly basis, right? For example, I don't know, 4 times per month if they want to, use your
Got it.
consultation.
Got it. Okay,
Charge
so
them
I'm going
something
to
like
explain
that.
it a little bit why we went with this model. So basically, the AI systems that we are basically trying to implement are they are end to end. As I said, they are trying to almost replace the current employees or the current workforce. So when we try to reach out to businesses, there is a very, very big skepticism around KR. Will these systems actually work? Is it actually valuable? I don't want to pay you like $100 a month or $500 a month for a system, and it just doesn't work. So that's why we went with something like this, that there's no upfront risk for the business, and they can just implement a solution and see if this really works for them. And it really helps us charge them more, because there's one thing they worry about, there's one thing that they care about, which is the customer resolution. They don't care about the money. They care that their customers leave their business happy. And that's the key point that we are basically psychologically leveraging to charge them more.
I get you. And how you are making sure that they are give you the right answer. Maybe they are really satisfied, but if they don't want to pay you and they're pretending they are not satisfied, right?
So basically, I think there was a little confusion. मैं आपको थोड़ा सा user experience समझाता हूँ. Our clients are businesses, and the businesses have either users or customers coming to their website. They can be a retail store, they can be a tech company. So when a customer comes to their website, our client's website, if they leave the website satisfactory after having a conversation with our AI agent, that's when we charge them $0.99 per that resolution. So we are charging that business. We have their credit card information or whatever, however you want to call it, and we have some kind of deal with them.
Okay, I thought it's a little bit. It's a nice model, I guess. We could even also you're charging different businesses for these sales and just customer service agents you have it.
Yeah, big companies are doing it as well. I just noticed Intercom is doing something similar. It's like a huge unicorn in the US.
Yeah. It's a nice one. I liked it.
All right.
Do you have any other questions?
Do you have any questions from the audience over here? Yeah, okay.
Hi, I wanted to ask one thing, that we are getting universities on board for our product. So the thing is that some universities are ready to pay 20% of the commission, some are ready to pay 10%, and some are ready to pay 5%. What we wanted to charge was a flat fee, but that isn't happening. So what do you suggest in this case? A good university is not giving us 20%. They are most likely, like for the NUST, we are in talk with them, and the maximum they are looking to get into is 5%. Same goes for AUD in Dubai. So, but the smaller universities, they are willing to pay up to 20%. So how does we pivot our business model, or is there an issue if we charge different to different universities? So I wanted to ask, how do you cater this?
Yeah, first of all, regarding AUD, I know them well. They have different structure, and they're trying to just making money from their entrepreneurship center as well. So it's not a good example, AUD. I don't see anything wrong regarding charging different universities different, commissions, right? Because the thing is, you cannot push them. If you're negotiating with them, you're explaining, okay, this is all the benefits, this is all the services we're providing for you and your students and your university. And at the end, they're saying, all right, maximum 5%. What do you want to do? Right? You can be flexible, all right, for different universities, or you can offering that for all the universities, let's say in Pakistan, we have a range from, let's say, 5 to 10%, then negotiating. Then for like the universities in UAE, you have different structure, right? Let's say 10 to 20%, and then pushing the negotiating towards that.
Thank you. Thank you.
The point is they talk with each other, right? Like, for example, AUD, they're talking with also American University in Sharjah. They're talking with like Khalifa University. They know each other. They talk about it, right? So it's good to have like a country-based, let's say, commission structure it's
Yes,
solved the
all of
problem.
the universities we onboarded are referral basis. One university give us the referrals for the other universities.
Yeah, yeah.
I just want to give you one feedback, and I think this goes to fundamentals of your business model also. I mean, if you answer this question, what is a good business model? And you will realize that if you are closer to the transaction, if the transaction is happening through you and you are getting paid first, then it's a good business model. The further you are from the transaction, the business model is weaker and probably is not scalable. So the thing you should start thinking is how because you are a marketplace, and marketplace is a very powerful business model. But if you're not collecting the money, then probably you are not the marketplace. You think you're a marketplace, but probably there is some flaw in that. So first of all, I think you should try to control the transaction. I mean, by control, I mean that the customer should pay you, and then you should deduct your margin and then pay the university. This is the scalable model. Otherwise, you will be chasing around, you will have invoices, you will have so many people to. So if you want to make it scalable, do the transaction on your platform. And another sort of litmus test for the business and business model is if your potential customers, they're not committing to this kind of business model, then probably they're not seeing a lot of value in your business. So this tough question, I think, as early as you can, sort this out, it's better for the business. So this is my feedback on, the question that you have specifically.
Right. Thank you very much. So we have if you have any other questions? No. Yeah. Okay. Adi, over to you.
Right, so I had a question regarding fundii specifically. My team was researching your organization before we came. We were just curious if we were to, because it says like there's a call to action for applying, right? So we weren't sure what would happen if a startup were to apply at fundii. So could you maybe guide us to what basically help you guys provide if you do provide it in the sense of fundraising? Or I also believe there's this educational platform called Fundii++, right? Which you also showed a Cohort. Like, could you elaborate on these 2 points if that's okay?
Sure, definitely. So fundii is a platform. Our core service is fundraising through equity and also M&A for tech startups in MENA, Africa, and South Asia. In South Asia, we cover only 4 countries: Pakistan, India, Sri Lanka, Bangladesh. All right. This is a QR code that you can scan it and also register in our Google form. So we are evaluating and we're noticing if you're okay, ready to do the fundraising, then we'll contact you to let you to officially start your application over fundii. Okay.
Sorry, if you could just zoom out so that this QR code actually is half coming in, yeah, so that you're able to. You could kindly zoom out. Yeah, now it's fine. Thank you.
Fine?
So guys,
Okay.
you can scan the QR code now.
I'll share with you, Kamran, later on the whole presentation in PDF, so you could share with the audience. Yeah, so and also the QR code and all those. So you need to be ready to start the fundraising minimum from pre-seed stage up to IPO. We covered in these 3 regions, minimum 250 USD, all right, and up. Okay, we don't charge you anything at this stage. There are 2-step verification. We check you out. If everything is fine, all right, then your campaign will be live over fundii and you could start fundraising, all right. We have local and international investors from these 2 regions, and everything A to Z will be through fundii, money transfer, everything. Okay, the campaign could be normally it's between 60 to 90 days, depends what exactly you want to do, how much you are raising, how successful you are, and depends on the level of the fundraising you are going to have it. We charge a different rate of commission. Normally it's between 5% to 10% for the successful transaction. All right. Next to that, we are also having fundii+. which is our educational line of services, which is masterclasses and workshops for everyone, again with focus in MENA region, Africa and South Asia, to provide them the practical side of business. All right, like masterclasses, they are half a day, 3 sessions of 45 minutes, and very, very affordable price in the market. Specifically, I'm noticing in UAE, people are getting very surprised regarding the process. Why we want to make it affordable? Because we believe, specifically entrepreneurs, a lot of entrepreneurs and startups in these 2 regions, they are very young or they don't have that enough money, right? But they are really eager and enthusiastic to learn, to launching their startup SMEs. It doesn't really matter, any type of businesses. So it's very affordable. We consider also a discount code for your center, right? So you can use it in the form where you're filling out, but just consider NIC 25 or 25% off from our actual prices. All right, and you're receiving a certificate of completion. It's all about business, okay? Different courses regarding business. We have also a specific program for international trade, which is good for more like product-based companies, SMEs, they want to just exporting outside of Pakistan, right? But the rest, it's applicable to everyone. So I guess I covered all. Any question, guys, regarding this?
All right. Do you have any question? Follow up. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Follow up, and then we have a couple of questions. More questions.
Right. So you mentioned there was this campaign, right, that you guys would actually go for after you guys go for a due diligence of the company that submitted their application, right? So
Yeah.
in that due diligence, I imagine you're obviously evaluating the company, its financials, its standing, its impact. So what would you say would be the evaluation for an early stage startup, which is only like having one product, but it's only recently registered, kind of like mine actually, but we don't actually have any revenue right now. So what would you say would be the evaluation for that?
Revenue is not important, right? As a matter of fact, that was a discussion I was just having with Kamran the other day. We had an online meeting regarding investors, specifically in Dubai and Abu Dhabi, that many of them, when you are just approaching them for fundraising, they are saying, okay, what's your revenue? They don't accept any other type of tractions that we have it, let's say in Europe and in North America and Australia. Let's say, for example, you validated your idea, you have an MVP, you have your team are good, you this. In UAE, they're talking about they don't accept it. They're looking for revenue. For us, revenue is not important, right? Specifically, when you are in the pre-seed stage, obviously, many of the pre-seed startups, they don't have revenue. So what is important for the pre-seed? The team, the idea, the market size, right? The actual problem you are solving through your product or service.
All right. Yeah. So next question from, okay. First Ahmed and uske baad aapke paas aana. Ji.
Hello, Maryam.
Hi.
My name is Ahmed, and I'm out to normalize travel for women in Pakistan. And for doing that, it's a big social change. For doing that, we're targeting a very specific small thing, in which is public group trips. So in Pakistan, in public group trips, it's very male dominated, and almost 80 to 90% of them are joined by men. So what we do differently is we take group trips where we screen everyone who comes on the trip, and also set up a quota of 50-50 male to female ratio, just so not one gender is the dominating one. My question is very simple, because since it's group trips are very easy to get, it's a direct sales of the trip tickets. It's a very simple business model. My question is, can I incorporate any other business model into this, any other revenue model for a thing that is so simple already? Can I like switch my business model?
Sure. First of all, I really love what you are doing it, because you are solving a real problem in the market. It's fantastic. I really congratulate you for this problem you are solving through your startup. Definitely, you can offer some sort of, the monthly base, subscription base, even annual, monthly, right, tickets for like frequent travelers for women, right? Is another thing you can do it, or and also one time. You can also collaborate with different, let's say, strategic partners you can take on board, right? But subscription based also is popular. I noticed in Dubai also, Careem, which is equal to Uber, they are using some sort of similar thing, subscription based for women. I guess for women, I never checked it, but for school rides, they have school rides. For delivery, they have it, right? For taxis, even taxis, something is very interesting for Careem. I noticed even for people, they want to just going every day walking some distance, then taking the metro, right? They have a specific service for that as well. So they are checking, sector by sector, right, in the market, what actually is required there, and then coming up with a service. You can do something similar to that. I don't know the transportation system in Pakistan, how it look like, but check out the market for women is perfect. So you can offer different event packages, subscription-based, right? You need to do a better market research, then you're getting, having a better feeling regarding what you can offer it. But in terms of the business
So something to add, the current customers, like 30% of them are repeat customers, and we already have a 9.0 NPS score. That tells that, okay, we are getting the traction for it. In example of group trips, we have like 10 to 15 group trips currently in a year. For a subscription model, what would I be selling? Like, would that be like a season pass, or you can pay this much upfront, or you can pay this much monthly and you can go on like 5 to 6 trips? Is it how I do that?
Yeah, that one you can use it. Also, another thing I was just thinking, you can finding a strategic partner like buy now pay later companies. I don't know if you have it in Pakistan or not. Consider that just facilitating the payments for the customers through that. So as you're increasing your sales.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right.
Hi, Maryam. My name is Faisal, and my startup name is Freshbox. We are an agri-tech startup. We are trying to build a supply chain here in Pakistan. I have just two questions, a very small one. Just wanted to check if we do we need to be registered somewhere? I think you're based in UAE. So do we need to be registered somewhere as a company in UAE? And second is, if we are based or operationally, or our operation is based in Pakistan, can we still use your services?
Okay, so two questions regarding why you want to register a company, let's say in UAE, for export?
No, to just use your services. Yes.
No, you don't need it. Why you need to do that? And you're making like a hassle for you in terms of also the tax matters later on. If you want to just do the fundraising like directly from some investors in UAE, maybe they require you to also have the registration here, but it's rarely happen. No, you could, keep your headquarters in Pakistan. You could have a rep office later on for marketing. Says again, I don't really suggest it at this stage. Keep all your operation in Pakistan, right? And do it from Pakistan, right? It's much cheaper, and you have all your talents there. Your supply chain network is there, so keep it there. Using our services, definitely. Like I said, in MENA region, South Asia, and Africa, we are just the only cover tech startup that their headquarters is either in South Asia or Africa. Okay, we do, and also receiving a lot of inquiries from, let's say, tech startups, even in Canada, from even in Europe, that can we do the fundraising to your platform? We don't accept them. Right, because your headquarters must be in this region. Why? I was just also talking with Kamran regarding this matter, because we want, just having the people in these two regions staying in their countries and building countries, their own countries, through the startups they are making, solving the problems, creating the jobs for their own people, right? So we don't accept anyone outside of this region if their headquarters are outside of these regions.
Great, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
All right. So do we have any other questions, or that's it? Yeah. All right. So we don't have any other questions. Dr. Maryam, thank you very much for the insightful
You're welcome.
session.
Thanks for the
And
invitation. I really Loved it. The session was perfect, but it was very interesting to see all these great level of talents from Pakistan and also the startups. They are solving real problems in the market. I wish them best of luck. So I'll share with you the presentation and also my LinkedIn profile. If you share with the audience, anyone, they can just send me like a invitation to connect. We'll be happy to connect.
Fantastic. We'll definitely do that. I think you have a meeting to attend. So thank you very much for your time. And really appreciate.
Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you. Thank you. Take care. And guys, we also been joined by Dr. Iffat Zafar Aga. Dr. Iffat, welcome.
Thank you very much. Take care. Bye-bye.
Hello, Assalamualaikum, everybody.
Assalamu alaikum. How are you? How is everything? Because we have already started the session because we already done with the hot seat. That's the 60-second pitch of the founders, and we're gonna. So we have already done by Dr. Maryam. Our next, the mentor who is here in person is gonna be next, and then after that we'll take you for the session. All right.
Sure.
All right. Thank you very much. So we have with us. Amazing. Mr. Shahzad Sherazi. He's the founder of CLICKY.pk. He's a tech entrepreneur. And primarily, he's the king of e-commerce. That's what I would say, tell about it. So over to you. Thank you very much. Please come in. And sir, यहाँ पे बैठेंगे या वो करेंगे and then we can. Primarily, I will sit next to you. Like this. So, sir, थोड़ा सा अपने बारे में बताएं. Kindly introduce yourself. Exactly, क्लिकी का सफर से start हुआ. फिर हम revenue business model topic जो है उस पे आते हैं. And maybe keep it a bit interactive because they would like to know primarily कि ये जो मैं इनसे आज भी बात कर रहा था कि revenue stream, primary revenue stream, मतलब one एक revenue stream, why it's very important. Instead of focusing on doing so many things कि यार यहाँ से भी पैसे मिल जाए, यहाँ से भी पैसे मिल जाए. Initially, why it's important कि यार आपकी जो primary revenue stream वो sorted हो, वो stable हो. And how was your journey as a CLICKY founder? कैसा start किया? तो और क्या challenges आए?
First of all, thank you very much for such a wonderful and exaggerated introduction. And thank you everybody for inviting and listening. CLICKY, the real brain is sitting there. So we were just having a meeting, so we came here together. So Khalid is the real the brain.
Khalid, why don't you join us as well? आजा इधर ही आज. आप इधर ही आज. So we'll get a third chair. को भी साथ करना. अच्छा. जी आप continue करें.
Coming to this wonderful topic today, I think one of the most important things to figure out your business model and revenue. And you mentioned how we did it in CLICKY, and so we started CLICKY as a marketplace, and if you know, there are few proven business models. There is no science or a complexity behind business models. I think there are very few business models which have worked for unicorns, and one of the most popular is marketplace model. Eventually, you will get very few marketplaces in the market. It's a winner takes all kind of a thing, whether it's local or global. So the problem with marketplace is that you have to work really hard, spend a lot of capital to become that one big player in the market. But as in business model, I think the biggest companies in the world are marketplaces. You take Airbnb, you take Uber, Careem, so they have created a marketplace where, they, like just we discussed the case that you take control of the revenue. So only then it's a scalable model, because otherwise you will keep on running behind your revenue, and you will have to scale your human resources or processes, which is very difficult. So there is marketplace, which is a proven business model. There is SaaS, where you charge on a monthly basis. There is a transactional model, like the Stripe does. You do something, or fintechs, they take a small amount of money from your transaction. But all the best business models, they take their money first. So this is, I'm saying this as an entrepreneur and making so many mistakes. Finally, after 10 years, this is what we have learned. And this is, if you're working in the context of Pakistan, so this becomes more important that, people or businesses, they don't want to pay here for some reason. And they are not very adaptive to, the technology or, what we are doing here. So this is one of the most important thing. You take control of the revenue of the transaction. Then you have a good business model. If you don't have that, then it's a weak business model. So first of all, you have to take control of your transaction. Secondly, I think one of the most important thing which me and Khalid, we have always fought about and learned the hard way is how much you have to charge for your service. And we as an entrepreneurs, for some reason, we are afraid to charge. I mean, I don't know, where this feeling comes, but we are always, we underprice, like, the value we are creating more, but we tend to, keep it, maybe it's the fear of competition or, but I think if you look at it theoretically, I think this is one of the mistakes that you could do in the early stages of your business or startup. Price is not fixed. I mean, it's not like once you set a price, it cannot be changed. But early on, if you are, I mean, unless you have friends and family, or first customers, where you want to, to give them a discount and learn valuable feedback about your product. I think if you go and tell your customer that this is the product and this is the price you have to pay, and they are willing to pay that price, or they are even willing to negotiate with you, I think that's your first success. So, and if people are not willing to do that, then it means that you are not creating enough value for the potential customer. Or so I think this is very important that don't undersell. I mean, price. I always say that you can make a mistake on the other side. You can charge a high price or try to charge a high price, and then your customer will, correct you. Then you offer a rock bottom price and never know the actual value that you're creating. So I think this is these are the learnings overall that we have from our mistakes and learnings. Anything, I think we can make it more interactive and.
All right. So what we can do is we can include Dr. Iffat in the conversation, because we want to keep it interactive, and we want opinions from two different seasoned entrepreneurs to answer your question. So over to you. So Dr. Iffat needs no introduction. She's the co-founder and CEO of Sehat Kahani. It's a health tech startup. And over to you on today's topic on the revenue and business model. So let's start with the history of Sehat Kahani. Once once you were working on the ideation, what exactly was the business model that initially was planned, and over the years how it became? Well, I'm sure it has pivoted. So pivot hoke, what exactly happened? And over to you on the topic. Thank you.
First of all, thank you so much, and Assalamu alaikum, everybody. I think let me give a little introduction about myself. I'm Dr. Iffat Zafar Aga. I'm the co-founder and CEO at Sehat Kahani. I'm a medical doctor, and I've done my MSc in Global E-Health from University of Edinburgh. I'm a Commonwealth scholar, and I think Sehat Kahani's journey is very interesting. It's very personal, because Sehat Kahani started in late 2016, early 2017. And I think there are multiple reasons why we started Sehat Kahani. So both me and my partner, we both are doctors. And Pakistan is the 5th largest country in the world in terms of its population. Yet, abhi bhi agar aap dekhein, we have hardly 0.5 doctor for 1,000 patients. And the reason this gap happens is that every year, and this is an experience that even me and Sarah had when we were growing up and studying कि जब आप medical university में जाते हैं तो a large chunk of the students is women, but unfortunately not a lot of them become doctors with the vision to save lives or change humanity. For the longest time in our part of the world, parents would want their daughters to become either teachers or doctors with the notion that they'll get better hands at marriage. इसका result ये होता था कि for a huge population that Pakistan has, we have around 245,000 licensed doctors. Good 80% of these are actually women doctors, out of which only 45% ever come back to practicing medicine. एक और gap जो हमने देखा in the years that we were working, that a lot of doctors, from both genders, also leave Pakistan for better work opportunities. So this leaves Pakistan with a very small number of actually practicing physicians. Most of those doctors who don't have the means or who don't have the desired, financials which would support them to go abroad, don't. Just give it. Sorry. So I think this is how the journey started. And when I met my partner, she was actually piloting the concept that how can a female doctor enable healthcare access in a remote community using telemedicine. And she was piloting this, and I think I just fell in love with it. एक personal experience थोड़ा सा मैं यहाँ से share करूँगी कि I was also one of those people who aspire to become a doctor. And I think I grew up in the Middle East, so those families who've lived and grown up in Middle East, who are really ambitious, who want to succeed and aspire in life. And I think life was good. I was studying my medicine. I went into med school. I became a physician. I also got married. And I think one thing that was really positive with me was my family was really supportive of me working. But I think a mishap that happened with me and my husband was we lost our first child in a premature birth. So after that incident, I was really guilt-ridden. I had switched my career to the pharma sector. So I was working in one of the leading pharmaceuticals here in Pakistan. And agar aap mein se kisi ne pharma mein ya corporates mein job kiya, I think it's a really exciting, glamorous job for a young individual that I was at that time. You get to travel a lot. There's a lot of outreach opportunity that you have. So I think I was having a lot of fun at my work. But this incident really shook both me and my husband. And unfortunately, हम एक patriarchal society में रहते हैं. So I remember hearing noises such as, अच्छा, still travel कर रही थी when she was expecting. She wasn't careful enough. Oh, okay, she was still using the stairs. I remember my office didn't have a lift. So I think I was really guilt-ridden. So the next time when I conceived, I didn't think twice and I just quit my job. And I think 7-8 months later, when my daughter was born and when she was around 5-6 months old, I realized for a person who has aspired to work and grow their entire life, it's not easy to just sit at home. So when I resumed work, that's when I met my partner who was piloting the concept that how can women doctors and any kind of doctors give back to the community by utilizing telemedicine. Or ye early 2016 की बात है, where work from home in our part of the world was not very common, जैसे COVID के बाद हो गया है. And especially for doctors, working from home was like a no-go area. No one really thought of it. तो यहाँ से हमारी journey शुरू हुई. When we started the organization, we started by creating nurse-assisted e-health clinics. तो हम करते ये थे कि हम remote communities में जाते थे. Existing clinics जो कि community में setup हुए हैं, जहाँ पे एक nurse मौजूद है, हम वो identify करते थे and we would set up a telemedicine platform with it. And I think being two doctors, we, in the early parts of our journey, knew nothing about revenue, about business models. And I think with time and with, being part of different accelerators, we started to learn. So I think the first thing that we learned was that कोई भी business जब आप create करते हैं, it has to become sustainable. So we started creating clinics with the concept in mind that हमें इसको sustainable बनाना है. After some trial and error and after some number crunching, we realized कि एक clinic को sustainable करने के लिए generally we need around 70 to 80,000 rupees, and this we can achieve if we have around 450 patients per clinic per month, and they're giving us 200 to 300 rupees in revenue. This is how we started working. After some time, we realized that okay, this is an amount which makes the clinic sustainable, but what about the whole organization? Also, I think as entrepreneurs, we realized कि आप एक problem solve कर रहे हैं, but एक बहुत major पॉपुलेशन मुल्क की, आपके और मेरे जैसे लोग जो एक कम्युनिटी में नहीं रहते, एक देही इलाके में या एक रूरल एरिया में नहीं रहते, वी आर नॉट सॉल्विंग देयर प्रॉब्लम. Even today, many of us who are living in Karachi or Lahore or Islamabad also, if you have to go to a physician, that means your entire day of work is lost. If some of your family member, like your elderly mother or your wife, has to go to a doctor, even today, a lot of families are still dependent on their male family member that, okay, he'll come home and he will drive them to that respective healthcare facility. So a lot of the times, this is an area which is severely neglected, which is the health of women. So after some thought, we realized that, okay, what are we doing for all of this population? जो कि urban populations में based है, जहाँ हमें nurse-led clinics के अंदर telemedicine नहीं set up करना. उसके दो मकासद थे when we were looking at the urban market. The concept was, how can we become sustainable as an organization? How can we start generating substantial revenue that helps us grow as an organization? And also, how can we cater to the problems of pertaining to health of the urban market? And also, जब हम doctors की बात करते हैं, तो we also realize that limiting ourselves to community clinics meant कि एक clinic में हम ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा 3 या 4 doctors एक वक्त में employ कर सकते हैं. So what about all the doctors who are, looking for opportunities to work virtually? और ये वो ज़माना है जब फूड पांडा, करीम, ये सारी चीज़ें पाकिस्तान में आ रही थी, तो the country was moving towards digitization. And like a lot of you, we thought कि अच्छा अब हम मोबाइल ऐप एक बनाएंगे, and this app will allow people to access a doctor online. This is somewhere around 2019, and much younger us thought कि ये ऐप आएगी और बस एक ही दिन में ये ऐप छा जाएगी and everyone's just gonna start using it. And ऐसा नहीं. And I think in the few initial months, we hardly had 10, 11,000 users. हमने कहा चलें corporates को reach out करना शुरू करते हैं. There was just friend and families, 3-4 companies which were using our service. But I think an unfortunate thing which became an opportunity for us was COVID. As COVID came in, the application just suddenly, blasted. Now everyone who initially wanted to go and visit a doctor physically now wanted to refrain from them. Everyone knew that now we are at risk. So one thing that we started to explore in terms of the business model here was that with the application, we partnered with the government, but usually the governments find it difficult to pay very, very soon. So हमें जो एक opportunity नजर आई, वो ये नजर आई कि during COVID, many organizations were working offline and their employees were based out of homes. So we thought, how can we start engaging with these corporations and how can they access Sehat Kahani service for the employees? And with a lot of trial and error, pivoting की जैसे अभी हम बात कर रहे थे, तो clinical model जहाँ अपने एंड पे बढ़ना शुरू हुआ, वहाँ हमने एक commercial model create किया in the form of a mobile app, जिसके दो models थे, consumer model where anyone can go onto the Play Store, download it and pay as you go, and a more B2B model where we started working with organizations where they would take the service from us and make it available for their employees. After a year, we also realized a core market opportunity कि जो in corporates को service provide करते हैं, those are insurance providers. How can we partner with the leading insurance companies who then pay us on behalf of these organizations? So it still remains a B2B model, but our end user may not be our payer anymore. So for example, अगर HBL या मीज़ान ये service हमसे ले रहे हैं, they may not be our payers. The payer might be some insurance company. So this was a new revenue model that we explored, which has run successfully till date. We are one of the leading telemedicine companies in Pakistan, which provide B2B healthcare services. Around 900 companies take this service from us today. These include all the leading banking sector, Philip Morris, Mondelez, the HBLs, the Mizans. There are around 8 leading insurance companies in Pakistan. We've partnered with all of them. And interesting चीजें हम साथ explore करते गए with time. For example, आप initially you would think कि अच्छा सिर्फ health insurance companies ये service लेंगी. But an interesting uptake we saw was from life insurance companies. Because उनका concept ये था कि life insurance is such a dry product. आप लोगों को service दे रहे हैं किसी के खुदा ना खास्ता death होने के बाद. Adding an online portal which gives them unlimited access to doctors and around 40 types of specialities meant now you're also giving them something while people are alive for them and their families. Similarly, we started, adding this service to other forms of insurance, for example, motor insurance. काम करने के साथ साथ एक चीज़ और जो मुझे लगता है कि बिजनेस मॉडल्स और रेवेन्यू मॉडल्स में हमेशा ज़रूरी होती है वो ये है कि हाउ यू आर एडिंग डिफरेंट वर्टिकल्स. सो एक वर्टिकल था हमारा इम्पैक्ट वर्टिकल जो कि क्लिनिक्स था. देन वी क्रिएटेड दिस मोबाइल एप्लीकेशन वर्टिकल. Servicing patients, we realized around 70% of our customers also get a prescription. That's when we thought, okay, how about we venture into the pharmacy business? Last year, we set up online pharmacies. And again, taking a different route as compared to a lot of consumer applications or a lot of consumer products out there. We thought, क्योंकि हमारा niche या हमारा cash cow B2B model है, B2B market है, how can we leverage this? So we started reaching out to corporates that, okay, जब आप access to a doctor enable करें अपने employee के लिए, क्या आपके पास ऐसी limits हैं जिसके तहत आप उन्हें pharmacy reimburse कर सकते हैं? So either this can be a reimbursement-based model where we bill you every month, or we make it entirely cashless for your employee. So this was such a new concept for this industry that, okay, employees having access to cashless pharmacy. And that's what we started, that any employee who's associated with a certain corporate, now they know that, okay, in their phone only, they know, okay, ये मेरी limit है. And up to this amount every month, I can order pharmacy, जो कि उनके घर पर deliver हो जाएगी. साथ ही साथ क्योंकि हेल्थ केयर में हम काम करते हैं, हमें रियलाइज हुआ कि वन स्टॉप शॉप सोल्यूशन आप कैसे बन सकते हैं, आप हेल्थ केयर की सुपर आप कैसे बन सकते हैं. Diagnostics is another area which we realize is really important, and we are not into diagnostics business, but maybe we can integrate with the existing diagnostic services. So ऑनलाइन एप्लीकेशन ना सिर्फ आप डॉक्टर को एक्सेस कर सकते हैं, ऑनलाइन फार्मेसी कर सकते हैं. हमने जो डायग्नोस्टिक पार्टनर सर्विसेज हैं उनके साथ पार्टनर किया, सो यू कैन ऑल्सो बुक डायग्नोस्टिक्स नाउ. एंड वेरी रिसेंटली नाउ वी हैव ऑल्सो गॉन इनटू होम हेल्थ केयर. पाकिस्तान एक ऐसा मुल्क है जहाँ पे एल्डरली पॉपुलेशन की एज बढ़ रही है, एंड वी हैव मोर जीरियाट्रिक पेशेंट्स कमिंग अप. A lot of people whose parents are living in Pakistan, but the families are not living in Pakistan, who need healthcare access. So the newest model that we've recently launched is home healthcare. And I think in this journey, what I've realized is business हमेशा एक सा नहीं रहता. If you want to be relevant, you need to keep on adding. You need to keep on pivoting the business model. You need to keep on adding different verticals. You need to keep on thinking about what new lines of revenue you can add. It can be vertical-wise growth. It can be geographical growth. So for example, after doing all of this, now we are looking to venture into other geographies as well, seeing the economic challenges that Pakistan is facing. So these are all the things that we've, done over the past few years. एक चीज और भी जो मैं हमेशा ही देखती हूँ कि when you are working in a certain industry, you keep on understanding what are the other gaps in that industry which have not been tapped into as yet, and what are those areas that you can really leverage and you can really bring forth with your experience and your expertise over the years. एक और इंटरेस्टिंग एवेन्यू जो अभी हम रिसेंटली एक्सप्लोर कर चुके हैं, एंड वी हैव बीन रनिंग दैट फॉर 2 years, इज जो हमारा क्लिनिकल मॉडल है. इनिशियली हम प्राइवेट लेड क्लिनिक्स या प्राइवेट नर्स लेड क्लिनिक्स में टेलीमेडिसिन सेंटर्स बनाते थे, एंड देर आई थिंक 2 years ago we partnered with the Ministry of IT in Kashmir, where we set up similar telemedicine setups in the government-led basic healthcare units. So B2G is also a very interesting way of creating revenue, where again your end user will not be paying for the services, but it's going to be the government which pays you for those services. So I think these are some of the key points that we have seen and we have used for our growth. I think financial modeling is very important as founders. Getting to know the crux of your financial model, even if you're not a financial person, is very important. क्योंकि जब investor आपसे बात करेगा, वो ये नहीं देखेगा कि आप doctor हैं या आप engineer हैं. He will know that you're the founder and how well you know your business, how well you can drill down your financial model. So I think that's something which is really important. Yeah, I think this was about it, and I think we're up for any questions.
Fantastic. Thank you very much for a very, elaborative discussions, and sharing with us your personal journey and all like what we have learned through your sessions. Like is that all these, the business evolved. Initially, it started primarily, focusing on clinics, and then it started with the introduction of an app, and so it all evolved with the passage of time. Then COVID came, and COVID was a very interesting period in which the overall the behavior, consumer behavior changed. हमें कभी नहीं सोचा था कि Zoom जैसे जिस पे अभी हम Zoom पे बात कर रहे हैं, ये probably hit it's because of COVID. So जहाँ बहुत सारे business बंद हुए, इसमें से मेरा भी startup था because of COVID, because वो travel tech था. तो बहुत सारे फिर नई एवेन्यूज खुले, सो देयर आर लॉट ऑफ अपॉर्चुनिटीज दैट केम इन, सो और प्लस हमारा बिहेवियर भी काफ़ी ज़्यादा चेंज हुआ. चलें guys, over to you. Let's make it more interactive. So the question answers, if let's take some questions now. Or okay, have questions. चलें आज शमून, we'll start with you. उसके बाद we'll take with Taimur and then we'll take it from there. जी शमून. हाँ, माइक आप ले लें. माइक दे लें. And Khalsa, we'll also want to take your, हम आपका भी opinion लेंगे, primarily because you know, Licky के you, as per Shahzad, you are the brain behind Clicky. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. So आप पहले जरा मुझे बताएं, let's कि how ये कैसे start हुआ and what exactly was your journey, your personal journey, and then before we take the question from Shamoon.
So me and Shahzad, we actually go back to NUST. We did engineering from there together. So I was working in Dubai till 2016, and in 2016, I think Shahzad was working somewhere in Kenya or Zimbabwe. And we both moved to Pakistan, and we wanted to do this clicky marketplace model. So we started back in 2016. So I was also working in a corporate. I was doing a job. I was in Dubai for almost 10 years. So I moved back from Dubai. I settled in Pakistan for this startup. So, and the journey has been that we started as a marketplace model. I don't know if you guys know that we actually raised money from soup.com, which is Amazon now. So that's why I was actually mentioning Amazon also, and we will share a couple of our relationship with Amazon and what we are doing with Amazon in coming future. And it has a lot to do with the business model, as just like Dr. Iffat was talking, that we started as a marketplace. We were selling different brands and different labels in Pakistan. Then we pivoted to a model we thought we should build our own brands. We saw its own challenges of scaling, and when we were building our own brand, then we actually moved back to kind of a mix of a model where we still do a little bit of our own brands, and then we sell marketplace brands also. And one of the thing is, as things change, things are changing in Pakistan and globally, both in terms of economics and I would say on the finance side, business models side also. So what we see right now is that anything that you are doing, even today, especially for these early startups, you have to make sure that you do something which is relevant not only in Pakistan, but it is relevant more on a global scale. So if anything that you're doing here or starting something, so if 50% of your product fit is in Pakistan, so you have to also see that I can take this to any other global market also. Okay. So same thing happened to us also in CLICKY now, that we started something in Pakistan. Now we see that, for example, same platform and same supplier base, we can actually take it to global. And that's what we are doing now. Actually, we will share more details on this one as we grow. But I think it's forever changing, and you have to be ready for that change. If you're ready for that kind of a change, so I think you would stay relevant to the market and to your own startup as well.
Thank you very much. Ji, question.
From both आप तीनों से मेरा सवाल है कि we are sort of told here in the startup space at the moment that we should be concentrating on one revenue stream. But from the talk today that there are multiple revenue streams that you have found business from. So my question is, we are a motorbike company. So we're going to be the first guys making heavy bikes in Pakistan, assembling heavy bikes. And there are two revenue streams that I have been concentrating on, but I'm being sort of maybe discouraged, not directly. But one is that we're going to be assembling the bikes and selling the bikes themselves. But the other is the spare parts and we've sort of made a platform, and we're developing a platform to sell spare parts in a very particular way that you can sort of order. You have a very specific way of searching for your parts. आप दराज पे इतने आराम से specific parts नहीं search कर सकते. So it's a very specific search engine for that could potentially grow out of our own bikes to other bikes and other cars and things if we work. But in your opinion, as a startup, should we be concentrating? Two revenue streams, is that too much, or should we just concentrate on one, or is that a hard and fast rule?
So if I've correctly understood that you're launching you're launching a website or a marketplace for
spare parts. One side of it is to help with the पाकिस्तान में मसला है कि आपकी बाइकें बिकेंगी नहीं जब तक लोगों को पता ना हो कि
So it's your own it's a private label kind of a
it's
thing.
it's a marketplace that we have to actually feed our bikes, but it can also have other bikes on it. It's
Okay.
not specifically just for our bikes,
Mhm.
but it is there to help us sell spare parts for our bikes as well.
So
मैं इसमें थोड़ा सा ऐड कर दूं because I think शमून फर्स्ट आपको जरा बताएं कि एग्जैक्टली आप कर क्या रहे हैं, सुताशी क्या कर रहे हैं. सो सुताशी से मार्केट में बताता हूँ. चलिए ओके बताएं, आप बताएं, आपका स्टार्टअप है. मैं
Sutashi's main business is that we want to have Pakistan में heavy bikes. अभी तक 300 cc से बड़ी बाइकें नहीं हैं, and we think that there's a big market for it at the moment if we get the right bike. So we're about to launch with 3 motorcycles over here, and we'll be assembling them. But what we've also heard is that one of the things that we understand is that nobody is likely to buy your bike, an unknown brand. That there's no service, it's not backed up. You have to be able to show that you can get spare parts for it, that you can service the bikes, and on that front we are working. And one of the things that we're working on is a spare parts website to help that sort of thing with customers at this beginning.
So what I have understood, so you will sell spare parts for your own
For our own motorcycles. So we've got 2 revenue streams, selling motorcycles and the spare parts.
Yeah, I think that should be fine. Like if customers are coming and they are all relevant, for example, I have a bike and then I need a spare parts, and then I can go deep and, you're actually, it's for us, it's like you are into one single domain, and then you are actually going within that
domain to
Yeah.
help. Actually, the main thing is sell our motorcycles so
Yeah.
that ke logon ko pata ho. But the other thing is that the spare parts thing, and this is where it gets confusing for me, there are about 30 million motorcycles on Pakistani
Mm.
roads, and there's no real website that serves their
Got it,
needs
yeah,
for
for
spare
bike.
parts. So
Yeah.
then it's like maybe that actually becomes our main business, or so it's just it's sort of when I've looked at that space more, that's so it's just like should I concentrate on both of them in the start, or
I think you should wait until that moment comes. So,
Okay.
and I think in this kind of a journey, you will get there. You will see whether I have to choose which path. Okay, and we all we have faced that that kind of a dilemma multiple times. But I think you shouldn't take any assumption as if now. I think only once you get there, based on numbers, on data, and your own your own intuition will tell you what to do. I think that's what we do at that moment.
I think the key word is keep it simple. I mean, this is true for all the startups. And there is a mistake probably we do even today. And there is a big temptation, when we are doing something, because we go to a customer and we pitch them something. And during the conversation, something comes up that, do you have this thing? And then because the revenues are small, and we are at a very early stage of the business, we think, okay, why don't I do this? So add this in the product also. And I think it's an endless thing. And eventually you will realize in 3 to 6 months that, you have created a hodgepodge of your business model. And it's not very productive. I mean, from my experience, and this happens all the time. Even, I mean, this happens today to us when we are, trying to do something or figuring it out. So I think we should always keep it very simple, and this might not be very relevant to your specific case, because your case, in my opinion, is very simple. I mean, you are doing retail of your own bikes, plus you have a marketplace or your own spare parts. So your revenue model is not very complicated. You have a price for your bike, and then you will charge some commission on the marketplace. It's very simple. But you could start thinking that, I should have this feature, or I should have that feature, or, now this. And
So
you see,
if I had correctly understood, correct me, that for example, his scenario is that he's thinking that maybe I'm selling spare parts of bike of these third-party bikes, and then I'm selling my own also, and including my own bike also as a label. Let's say that. So one day, what happens, because there are 30 million people on these the existing small labels, right? So maybe that becomes a multi-million-dollar idea that, okay, why don't I only sell this, and even I just close the other chapter? Because for that, I think as you grow, just like Shahzad said, keep it very simple as today. Do not change a lot. It's one single window where you are selling all these things, and then based on data and everything, then you'll be able to, I think, decide.
Dr. Iffat, you want to add something in the question?
Could you repeat the question?
All right. Okay. Shamoon, once again.
So, Dr. Iffat, in a very short form.
And if you could keep your mic close. So
Okay,
that
I'll do it in a very short form, so it's useful not just for us, but for everyone else. Yeah, we are sort of taught that revenue streams, we should be very specific, keep it very simple as we're starting up. But when in your talk, you talk about how within a few years you have found so many different revenue streams within your business. So should we, in our case, we're sort of potentially looking at two revenue streams. One sort of helps the other. Have you found that it's a hard and fast rule that you should keep it very simple, concentrate on one thing in the start? Or, if you think there's within the same space, we feel that there are two revenue streams that either of them could be very significant. And we're sort of concentrating on both of them at the moment. Is that not wise, or is that all right? That's essentially the question.
So I think in my experience, we have created, so right now we have around 5 different vertical streams, but they all are from the healthcare genre. So they all are very intricately related. So for example, when you look at a patient's journey, a patient goes to a doctor. So that's the part of our revenue model where we charge for connecting to a doctor. Then when a doctor writes prescription, now we've added that as a part of our revenue stream, that, okay, when we already have 70% prescriptions being generated, why let it go out of our stream, and how can we also gain revenue from that as well? And then, other models in terms of, for example, partnering with diagnostic labs, partnering with the insurance sector, the B2B market especially, and also the most recent home healthcare where we are catering to geriatric care. In my experience, the founders need to obviously divide their time. They need to understand that, okay, who's looking after which revenue line. Then in the organization over the years, there should be separate teams which are dealing with those different revenue lines. That's something that we've seen, which has helped us, that, okay, there are individual teams looking after a certain revenue stream. So they're the sole custodians of that revenue stream. So there's no confusion. You are right. When a lot of the times, when we are particularly, speaking to different investors, there are two thought processes. There are some who have this thought process, especially, for example, when we didn't have the pharmacy, that, okay, this is such a clear-cut business where you could venture into. Why haven't you gone into pharmacy? But once we started it, we also get a lot of feedback from people that, okay, you have these 4 or 5 different types of revenue streams. As an organization, do you think you're losing focus? So I think what we've seen in our businesses, and what really helps is, me and Sarah, we have our roles very clearly defined, that, okay, which revenue streams he's looking after, which revenue streams I'm looking after. Then for every revenue stream, we've gotten senior people in the team to lead that particular department, who are, the sole custodians in terms of generating revenue from that particular vertical. That's something that, in our experience, has added a lot of value to our business, to our overall product mix. But then they have to be related. For example, if I one day want to go into education, that wouldn't make sense for me. But remaining within the domain of healthcare, it makes a lot of sense for me.
Okay. No, that's very useful. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Yeah. So,
Assalamu alaikum.
I wanted to get along what you said before. First of all, because I've been working as head of marketing for a company based in Dubai, and मेरी यहाँ पे खुद की agency थी, तो I work with few e-commerce clients, and a lot of times आपका नाम आया Brand City, Al Jannat Mall, HTS वगैरह के साथ काम करके. So your website was one of the things we look into, क्योंकि हम एड्स मार्केटिंग वगैरह में हम लोग बहुत अच्छा थे, तो उसकी रीटारगेटिंग वगैरह के लिए वी डिड यूज योर वेबसाइट एज मेन थिंग कि यार इस कंपेटिटर को देखते हुए हम लोगों ने काफी बार आपके ऑडियंस एग्जिस्टिंग कस्टमर्स को भी टारगेट किया, उधर से भी हम लोगों ने अपनी सेल
हमारी सेल इसलिए तो नहीं ड्रॉप हुई कुछ दिन पहले।
He's the guy to catch him.
तो हम लोग ये चीज करते थे, तो जस्ट टेलिंग यू के वी नो के हाउ एग्जैक्टली यू गाइस बिल्ट अप, वी हैव बीन लुकिंग इनटू फॉर पास्ट 2 years, हम लोग काफी क्लोजली आप लोगों को देखते रहे हैं. तो वन थिंग आई वांटेड टू आस्क यू इज दिस के यूई के अंदर हम लोग जो पेमेंट स्ट्रीम बना रहे हैं, रेवेन्यू स्ट्रीम, दैट्स वेरी इजी. स्ट्राइप से हमने बात की, एग्जिस्टिंग स्ट्राइप से हमारा क्योंकि काम चल रहा था, वेरी गुड रिलेशंस. तो स्ट्राइप ने कहा कि ठीक है, विल टेक योर चार्ज वट एवर योर कमीशन फीस, और बाकी हम यूनिवर्सिटी को भेज देंगे. उसके अंदर इशू नहीं आ रहा. पाकिस्तान के अंदर हम लोगों की अभी रिसेंटली मिजान बैंक के साथ मीटिंग हुई, तो उन्होंने कहा इस तरह का कुछ रेवेन्यू मॉडल आप कर ही नहीं सकते, हमारी जो पेमेंट गेटवे है उस पर सीधा यूनिवर्सिटी को ही जाएगी, यू कैन टेक पेमेंट ऑन देयर बिहाफ. ये एक इशू आया है, तो हमें उन्हीं को भेजनी है, और पाकिस्तान के अंदर हमें मैनुअल सिस्टम रखना पड़ रहा है, क्योंकि यहाँ पे उस तरह की लाइसेंसिंग और वो चीज़ें भी हैं नहीं. तो इस केस में बताएं, क्योंकि पाकिस्तान के केस में हमें अभी मैनुअल सिस्टम रखना पड़ रहा है. फॉर यूएई एंड सऊदीया इट्स वेरी स्ट्रीमलाइन, हमारे इश्यूज रिजॉल्व हैं, वहाँ पे हम लोग ऑनलाइन कर भी सकते हैं, तो हमारा कट पहले आ रहा है. तो इस केस में व्हाट टू डू वाज द क्वेश्चन, क्योंकि आपने कहा कि इसको रख लें.
I think just a suggestion. I mean, you know your business better than me. I'm only talking, theoretical, and you could pass on some benefit to the student. So let's say you have 30% margin or 15%. So initially you can say if you pay from my portal, you will get 7.5% discount. So that will incentivize your one side, your supply side, that okay, if I pay from this portal, probably I will be saving some money, And then if you really have, I mean, for example, probably banks work on referral model, or so they pay a lot of money to, businesses who refer them, the clients. So if you can really generate the demand, and you have, let's suppose, I don't know, 20, 30, 50, whatever makes sense in terms of scale students, and you go to NIST and tell them that, okay, these are the students, or this is the volume I can give you. So they offer you some.
Issue is the legality part from the government side, कि they are not allowing कि आप education की transaction अपने पास लेके जाएं और उसके बाद आप university को दें. That is where the issue is.
Have you seen a company called QuickPay?
Yes.
Do you know QuickPay? They like a lot of, I think, schools like Beacon House or City School, all the students or somehow even parents also know that they're using their QuickPay as a service that you can actually, and even it's listed on all of the banks also, that you go when you have to pay to any, for example, you can select QuickPay app from within bank's app actually, right? So for example, you can look into that model, that how these guys have been able to, but what I know is just like Shahzad was also saying something, that for example, now I know the founder of QuickPay, but because he was coming from a banking background, so he already had a fair bit of idea how to navigate in banks, get them on board, so and then sell the same service to clients. So maybe you probably have to get or find somebody within your team, or bring another founder with you who knows how bank operates, or for example, how can you leverage from banks in this kind of a product. But that's a technical product, just like Shahzad said, that you have to build the pipe from which money is going through your side. So it's more a product kind of a thing than you have to think about a product, a technical product, that okay, how other people are doing and how can I replicate similar kind of a model.
And I think, I'm not sure about the compliance part, to be honest, I'm not expert, but I mean, you are just a payment processor. I mean, you are not taking technically, you are not taking money to, give them the education. It's like actual product. It's to me, it feels like, the basic fundamental concept of marketplace is not available in your case. I mean, it doesn't feel right. I mean, you are not saying that you will give them the MBA education or the degree, but you are just saying that if you pay through us, I'm the payment processor, you will get this much discount. And
What
then
we are doing is कि हमारे पास universities listed हैं, बच्चा आ रहा है बीच में payment gateway, instead we make our own. For time being हमने Stripe UAE और सऊदीया के लिए बात की, Stripe ने कहा will integrate us, ठीक है, पेमेंट आई, स्टूडेंट ने पेमेंट पे की, Stripe के थ्रू हमारा जो कट है वो हमारे पास एंड बाकी सारा यूनिवर्सिटी के पास. अब ये चीज़ हम लोग पाकिस्तान में नहीं कर सकते क्योंकि Stripe एक तो ऑथेंटिकेटेड नहीं है फ्रॉम गवर्नमेंट ऑफ पाकिस्तान. सेकेंडली इस तरह का कोई पेमेंट गेटवे हमें मिल नहीं रहा पाकिस्तान में who can do the same thing. Because for now we were focusing on the AI part and the marketplaces listing of universities. So we don't want our resources to get into the payment processing. हम लोग इस चीज़ को करें क्योंकि we new licensing और ये वाली चीज़ें बहुत महंगी हैं UAE में because I worked there. तो इसलिए हम उस चीज़ में घुस ही नहीं रहे. We want कि कोई और payment gateway हो, वही सारी ये चीज़ें देखे, सारा transaction सरदर्दी उनकी हो, हम लोग सिर्फ मार्केट प्लेस हो, ट्रांजेक्शन पार्ट उनका, पेमेंट प्रोसेसिंग हमारे थ्रू उनके थ्रू पेमेंट जाए और हमें अपना कट मिल जाए, बाकी कट यूनिवर्सिटी को चला जाए. लेकिन इस तरह की कोई चीज़ जो पाकिस्तान में काम करी है, वी कुडंट फाइंड दैट.
Yeah, I think since this was our topic to discuss today, so that's why I am very sort of clear that this should be your business model. But you know your business and you know how you have to do it. So you are the best judge. You know what next step you have to take.
I hope
Yeah.
you're not asking Shahzad to build the product for you.
क्योंकि हमें तो एक ही चीज़ मिली फॉर टाइम बीइंग कि हम मैनुअली इसको सॉर्ट आउट करें. लेटर ऑन वी गेट इनटू बिकॉज हमारी HEC की मीटिंग है. दैट्स व्हाट आई वांटेड टू आस्क मिस इफत आल्सो कि हम लोग जिस तरह से HEC के साथ नेक्स्ट वीक मीटिंग है, तो हाउ गुड दैट कैन डू अस फ्रॉम गेटिंग गवर्नमेंट बॉडी ऑन बोर्ड.
Yeah. So I think first of all, there is a platform which you can look into, which facilitates, which is kind of an intermediary, which facilitates in school payments, PayPro. I don't know if you've had an opportunity to look at it. A lot of
No.
schools, even for example, my children's school uses a platform of PayPro, and that's the module through which we pay. We do the payments. It's an intermediary. So maybe you can look at that. There's another organization, but they're more on the payment gateway module, Pay Fast. So that's also a company maybe which you can look into it. I'm not sure how well they will be able to solve your problem, but that's an organization who's doing an excellent work where they've gotten all the payment gateways integrated in one platform. There's another very recently launched platform called Neem, if someone is familiar with that, who's led by Naeem Zamindar. So these are some platforms that you can look into. When you're meeting HEC, keep in mind that when you start a relationship with the government, it will take good 12 to 18 months to really reach a certain point. So I wouldn't recommend that you back entirely on the HEC meeting. This would be something which you continue as a part of your regular process. So this should just continue going on. You should have very defined goals. What is it that you want to achieve with HEC? Usually मैंने देखा है कि when you're working with the government sector, don't have more than 2 to 3 asks. This you should be very specific, very focused, very targeted. Especially in the early stages of your partnership, if there is less monetary exchange involved, that's something that helps in getting the partnership onboarded much quicker. Agar financial involved hote hain, then it's another conversation altogether. So my thought of getting the government on board is having 2-3 very key asks, preferably if they have limited monetary exchange, and that will help you get them on board ASAP. Yes, once you have HEC on board, that gives you a lot of credibility and recognition. However, keep this process ongoing while you're reaching out to other players as well in the market.
Thank you so much.
All right.
So I have a question, Kamran.
Yeah, sure.
So I have a question for Khalid from CLICKY. So basically, you guys are running a really good, huge e-commerce business in Pakistan, and I would really like to know how you guys are tackling and basically doing customer support in Pakistan. Question number one. And number two, are you guys utilizing any kind of AI or AI tools or platforms? And if you had to use some kind of AI for customer support, what would that look like?
I think great question and a question at very right time that yes, we have already
Because
built
we are
AI.
building the exact technology for you guys. That was gonna be my other question जो मैं आपसे बाद में पूछूंगा.
अच्छा, वो आपको घिरने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं कि आप कस्टमर बन जाएंगे. चलो, ओके, आप question.
Yeah, was it the same startup that the AI agent startup?
Yeah. AI agent.
Yeah. Yeah. So, see, we already have built that in-house. Okay, and Saad is the guy behind it. Okay, so
Okay.
you can. I'll let you.
So basically, I just want to, I mean, it's a disclaimer. When I heard your first question, so we are doing pretty much similar thing, and we have started onboarding. So we have built this a SaaS platform, which we are obviously using in CLICKY, and we have starting selling to other clients also. So I would, on a very high level, just say that it's pretty much. I mean, I remember what you said on the business model. We are doing the same thing, and we are focused on e-commerce as a niche, like
Yeah.
those people who are selling on Shopify or
Yeah.
even on marketplaces. And we have automated their workflows. We are getting some very good results. 90% FCR, and then we have some backend AI where agents can look at the unresolved tickets. So this is something that we did for CLICKY, and then we are offering it as a separate SaaS platform, but only focused on the e-commerce. I just wanted to tell you, since you said that you have something that we can do, so we can definitely.
I was gonna ask you this question because obviously you guys have the experience, you kind of fit our ICP. So even if we don't work together and use our product, I will definitely want to learn more about how you basically, do that workflow. Then we can learn about, customer support for e-commerce as well.
Yeah, definitely.
Sure. Let's connect on LinkedIn and we can just set up a call and discuss more.
All right. Thank you, Mohim. Thank you very much. All right, guys. So have any other, yeah, please.
अस्सलाम वालेकुम सर, आप पहले बता रहे थे कि you should actually
Yeah, थोड़ा सा, if you could introduce yourself, your startup, what you do, and then you can ask the questions for that.
Sir, I'm Ali Arshid. My business is Tayari. It's basically an online event booking platform where you can book all sorts of vendors, including venues, caterers, decorators, and photographers. And it also shows real-time availability on it and has flexible payment options as well. So you were talking about you should take the control of revenue. So in my business model, either I can take the revenue from the vendors through subscriptions or commission based. And in that way, I don't have any control of revenue because I cannot take the revenue from the customers first and then book the venues for them. So I basically have to generate my revenue from the vendors first. So how can I take control of the revenue in this case? Because I'll have to go to each vendor to take the revenue from them.
So again, we have some proven business models. I mean, there are 7 or 8 business models which are proven and scalable. One of them is marketplace. I mean, there are a lot of marketplace businesses around. Another popular is SaaS and fintech transaction model. So if your business is direct to consumer, I mean, you are not a marketplace.
I am a marketplace.
So if you are a marketplace, then I mean, again, in my opinion, or opinion of so many other people, if you're not collecting the revenue, let's say your marketplace expands really big and you have thousands of transactions happening every day. So, I mean, it's a huge operation to run that, to collect that money, and probably you will be exhausted. So, I'm not saying early on or you should do it right away, but I think if you want to scale your business, then this is one of the problem that you have to solve. that you cannot afford to run a finance I mean, we have seen in our business, this was one of the biggest problem that we couldn't handle the finances properly. You see, so once we are in control of the overall, I mean, not just how we invoice or how we take our revenues, but our internal finances also, you know. So I think this is very, very important when you have to scale your business, because without this, probably you will end up, you know, after and this happens when the business starts to grow, you know, then you don't understand whether you are bleeding money, whether you're making money, you have receivables or you have payables, and all of a sudden you could have a big surprise that, you know, it could go any direction. So that's why I think it's, in my opinion, it's very important that you have the control of the transaction. I mean, it's the ideal scenario, not that it will apply to every business, but ideally you should have that.
I think a very quick point, and probably this would be relevant to everybody who has asked this marketplace question. Either it's you know, by our own bike or marketplace, your like universities, and you know, the marketplace for the universities and payments, and your is the services, right? So two things. For example, I forgot the name of one company in Lahore. It's, I think, maybe Helper or something. Like they provide these kind of services, right? That if you need a technician at your home or electrician at your home, so they will send it. You will just book it and they will send it. Okay, so even if we take example on CLICKY, so we had a similar dilemma in the start, but then we had this conviction that this dilemma cannot be solved until I start doing my own label or I start doing my warehousing. Okay, so same goes for you. For example, unless ke aap one mistake you probably would be doing, that you probably have chosen too many categories, that you are maybe you need a photographer but you don't have your own photo. तो किसी को ऑर्डर आया फोटोग्राफर का, तो पीछे से अरेंज भी करना है, वो सब कुछ करना है. तो व्हाट आई वुड डू कि मैं लेट्स से कि यार 3 फोटोग्राफर अपने पेरोल पे पहले से रख लूं बेस्ड ऑन डिमांड, कि आई कैन पे देयर सैलरीज, आई कैन, यू नो, अगेन द मॉडल इज कि यार कि वेदर आई हैव टू कीप माय ओन रिसोर्सेज एट बैक एंड इन द स्टार्ट और मिक्स एंड मैच, एंड देन जो बिजनेस ग्रो हो मैं देखता जाऊं कि फिर ऑटोमेटिकली अगर फॉर एग्जांपल लेट्स से ज्यादा फोटो, आज मेरे पास 50 ऑर्डर आ गए हैं फोटोग्राफर्स के, तो मेरे पास सिर्फ 10 फोटोग्राफर हैं, तो 40 फोटोग्राफर्स आपने समाउ मार्केट प्लेस से अरेंज करने हैं. ठीक है, तो दिस इज हाउ दिस डायलेमा कैन बी सॉल्व. ये एक सिंगल हैंडेडली आप इसको सॉल्व नहीं, तो फिर जब आपके अपने होंगे तो वहां से आप पेमेंट भी कलेक्ट कर रहे होंगे, आपके पास मार्जिन भी होगा, सब कुछ होगा, सर्विस भी अच्छी होगी. सो इट्स अ मिक्स एंड मैच.
सो यू आर सेइंग कि मतलब मेरे बेसिकली अपने वेंडर्स भी हों और मार्केट प्लेस अलग से भी हो. That's what you're trying to say.
Yeah, it's a mix and match, but again, your own numbers and business model will tell you what to do. But you have to start with both and see क्या चीज कैसे चल रही है.
Okay, thank you.
I think one comment that I'd like to say is, क्योंकि आप service industry से ताल्लुक रखते हैं, service industry usually is a cash intensive market, and generally you need to have a lot of surplus cash early on, because you will first have to execute the service and आपको payment usually बाद में मिलेगी. हम बहुत जगह जो एक चीज़ इंट्रोड्यूस करने की कोशिश करते हैं, which you may not be able to successfully implement everywhere, but then there are exceptions, is some form of advance payment. So for example, अगर आपने कोई event book किया है, कोई अगर आपका booking आ गई है, so at least 30% or 40% of the cash you take in advance. In our case, that really helps, because वो जो 30 to 40% advance होता है, that helps pay you back for all the vendors that you need. For example, जो भी आपके element में जितने different vendors required होंगे. I think I really agree to the idea that there should be a mix. You should have some people on your payroll जिनकी आपको services बहुत regularly दरकार होती हैं, and then have some जिनको आपके साथ आपका revenue share का एक model हो, या एक fixed cost का जो भी model हो. But I think having advance payments and encouraging advance payments, particularly if you're, for example, working with a bigger vendor, a bigger party, introducing the concept of advance payments, even if it's 30%, 40%, that really helps people like us who are working in the service industry.
Ma'am, talking about advance payments, जो actual issue था शुरू में when I was building the website, तो मुझे यही था कि लोगों को इतनी major payments करने में ये issue ज़रूर होगा कि वो all of मतलब सारी payment एक साथ नहीं कर सकते. तो there is the advance payment option in the website, as well as you can book an appointment as well if you don't want to pay through the website.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Also, I
Thank
think
you.
एक मुझे एक चीज लगती है कि a lot of the founders, a lot of startups, हम recovery में इतने अच्छे नहीं होते. तो मुझे लगता है कि and you know corporates know how to do their recovery, even from smaller companies like us. Literally, they have people assigned whose job is to just call in your finance team day in day out. They don't even shy away from calling the CEOs, the COOs if they need to, if they have to do recovery. जो कि हम बहुत shy away करते हैं in asking for our hard-earned money. And I think with time we also learned that okay, and literally this happens with us. Payments, which were supposed to be done by bigger corporate giants, lag on for more than 5, 5, 6 months. And क्योंकि वो एक शर्मा हुजूरी हम पूछ नहीं पाते कि यार छोटा बिजनेस है, हम कैसे पूछें, हम कैसे इनको बोलें. In my experience, we've even had to, cut down people's services just so that they would pay us in time. So I think as founders, as entrepreneurs, we need to also become a bit shameless when we're asking for our own hard-earned money.
I think I just have one more thing to add to what you said. I think it's a really good test. It's a really good test that you ask for your money. I mean, it's a test for your business and the value you are creating. And I agree that we, as a founders, this is least on our minds. Probably we are too happy to sell our product or find that we are getting a new customer or. But I think I heard it from somewhere. I don't know, some YC video or something, that you need to ask one question about your product. If you switch it off, will it affect anybody? Like, people will miss your product, and if you have that kind of a product, people will pay you. I mean, and this idea is really helping us to actually streamline our offering, whether we are offering something which is actually needed or not. Like, if you give me a service and I hesitate to pay you, that means I might have some alternatives, or maybe I'm not the person who is willing to spend on so this is the test you should do as soon as possible. I think, I mean, we do this mistake that we are too much we are obsessed so much with our product. We keep on building, and then after spending a lot of time on building, we go to the market and then find out the real feedback. So I think asking for the money is this is the first thing you should do. Probably it will help taking the right decision.
And with that, I think we come to the end of the session. So you have okay, so we can have one last question, and then we're gonna end the session.
So my question is actually from both of you, Dr. Iffat and CLICKY team as well. And you guys have been doing business for a while in Pakistan. The core audience is Pakistani people as well. I want to understand that, you guys definitely have a competition. Which company do you think is your biggest competition? And what do you think they are doing better than you guys?
Yeah. See, for example, we work in e-commerce space, so there are different companies in e-commerce doing similar things that we do. For example, Daraz is one of the biggest competition that we have. Okay. Then because we operate in largely in fashion side, so Lam is one another company which is doing very well. There was another one company, I think, Big Gallery, kind of, which these are a couple of big marketplaces that we see that they're operating in Pakistan. Okay, so they have the technology, they have the resources, they have a business model, they know the local kind of ecosystem very well. Okay, so but I think when we talk about competition, or even from a Pakistani market perspective, we see it's kind of a longer game that you cannot you should have your own set of strategy tools and a motivation to go forward in your journey than really digging deep much in, from a surface level, you can read your competition and everything, but at least from a longer journey perspective, I think you should be focused on your own journey, because what we still see, for example, like one of the biggest thing that we have, we as a CLICKY have seen, we sensed or we see is changing, and just like that, I was saying to a couple of other startups also, that now what we have seen that the technology and the way the whole global market is operating. For example, now it's much more easier for you to go global, think global. So it's not only one Pakistan where you're seeing, but even in Pakistan, if you see yourself as a startup, so eventually anybody who thinks that they can do globally also, because it's one, it's a kind of a funny example, but usually we quote, okay? And that opens up your perception also that what you have to do in your life, starting from Pakistan and then going outbound also. For example, do we know that how much GDP as country we have? Any idea? How much is
230
Pakistan's
billion.
GDP? 350. Now, if I ask one question from the whole room, that let's say, and this is I want to do something which is $350 billion, which is fine. I'm not saying that it's not, but let's say I take a start from here. But for example, now my next question is: do we know that if I have to do dog business, selling dog accessories, and there are less dogs in here, but then in US, for example, how much is dog business in US? Yeah, no. How much is dog business in US? It's 130 billion. How much is cat business in US? Kind of a similar figure. Combine both of them. Okay. So again, please do not take my this example as a demotivation. For example, that okay, no, we don't have to do anything in Pakistan. But this is what I'm saying. When you start something, either it's a supply chain idea, either it's an AI idea. Just like one of these other friends are doing this AI bot kind of a thing, okay? So opportunity, you will learn from this market, okay? And then you will go global. So that's how we see competition also, that unless you do not have a willpower that, you have to do something, scale something here, then global. So it's a longer game, I would say, on competition.
Thank you. Thank you.
In my experience, competition is pretty much there. I think I like to believe and I like to live in that illusion that, okay, my product is the best. But I think as an organization which has been there and it has been present, particularly in the B2B and the B2G sector for the last 5-6 years, I think it's always important to keep on, having an eye on what your competitor is doing. For example, हम बहुत सारी टेंडर बिड्स में पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं, हम बहुत सारी कमर्शियल बिड्स में पार्टिसिपेट करते हैं with a lot of insurance companies. So we need to always know what a competitor is doing, what. And the way our organization is evolving, even our competitors are evolving over time. So I think it's always good to know what a certain competitor is doing in the market. I think it's always good to keep on looking at the best practices that are being done, particularly internationally. So I think as an organization, what we've always done is instead of comparing ourselves to a local competition, what we've tried to do is always compare or keep the standard of some international organization that, okay, ये यहाँ तक पहुँचने के लिए क्या चीजें हैं जो हम अभी नहीं कर रहे या हम बेहतर कर सकते हैं. However, it's always really important to know, particularly in the health sector या B2B sector, जहाँ बहुत सारे tenders में participate कर रहे होते हैं, कि what your competition is doing.